You're terrified of making the wrong decision, of walking away too soon, or staying too long and sabotaging your future. When you've invested so much into a relationship, it's hard to know if it's time to let go. So in this video, I'll walk you through 5 signs your relationship might be over, so you can stop second guessing yourself and make a clear, confident decision about what to do next. So the first sign that tells you if your relationship is over with your partner is that the pain you experience in the relationship outweighs the moment you feel connected to your partner. Of course, all couples go through a hard time. But think about it. If you look at the last few years of your relationship, even the last year, has emotional pain been the primary experience you've been having in your relationship? This is not just a bad week. This has been your overall experience throughout the past few years or months. When you feel this emotional pain, it means your nervous system is signaling to you that I don't feel safe here. I'm hurting and I'm in a lot of pain. For example, let's take the last year of your relationship. Of the last 12 months in your relationship, how many days were spent feeling hurt, unsupported, alone? Is it 10 months out of 12 months or just a few weeks in the last year? What about overthinking? Have you felt more overwhelmed, stressed, and in this bubble of confusion in the last year? You can literally count the number of days you felt these negative feelings, and that's your evidence. That tells you where your relationship really stands. And really, these bad days are taking a toll on your body without you even realizing. So I'm going to give you an example. You're in the kitchen making coffee, and your partner walks in. Instead of feeling warmth and ease and excitement, your body tightens. You're bracing for something, a sarcastic jab, or just a cold silence. There was a time you used to laugh over bagels. Now you feel like you're just dodging bullets before 9 a.m. That shift, that's not small. That's your body keeping score of how things feel in the relationship. The second sign is your fights are lasting longer, hitting harder, and you guys are barely repairing after each fight. Now, don't get me wrong, conflict here is not a problem. Every couple has conflict from time to time. In fact, healthy couples fight too, but they also know how to repair. When every disagreement turns into a fight and a 4-hour emotional marathon, and you still have a hard time recovering and bouncing back from those arguments, that's a sign that something deeper is breaking down in your relationship. So let's say before, after each fight, you wouldn't talk with each other for 1 day. Now that 1 day has turned into a week. Maybe that week has turned into a month. Some people can go without talking to each other for months and months. The longer this period is, the more of a risk you're in. I'm going to show you what I mean when a couple is fighting, but they're actually unable to repair after the fight. So let's say this is you and you're saying to your partner something like this. It really hurt me when you dismissed me in front of your friends. Oh my God, it's always something with you. I literally can't say anything without you twisting it. I'm just asking you to acknowledge how I felt. Maybe you should try not to be so sensitive. And then they leave. You cry, and 2 days later you pretend like nothing happened until it happens again. This is not a resolution. Over time, this is going to lead to a lot of resentment between you two. Sometimes you can be years in a relationship where you're fighting, but never resolving anything, never repairing. If this is your experience in a relationship, I would say there might be something better out there for you. And this relationship might not be worth your investment. The third sign that tells you maybe it's time to leave your relationship is if you've tried couples therapy and it didn't actually work. Now, I want to be clear, this is not just with any therapist. You actually went to a really good couples therapist and you feel like you're really connected, but somehow that experience wasn't able to improve your relationship. Maybe you even begged your partner to go to therapy with you. And when you finally got into that room, one of you leaned in and one of you just sat there with their arms crossed and said, I don't know why we're even here. Or maybe your partner played nice in the session and said all the right things, and then nothing changed at home. You were back in the same patterns that were hurting you. This means your emotional experience in the relationship did not change after therapy. Or if it did, it only was for a short time, so it didn't last. So let's say this is a therapist in a session, and here's how the dialogue goes. Well, hello, Jake and Sarah. What's something you could do this week to reconnect? I'll try to initiate a date. Cut to Friday night. They're on the couch playing Xbox while you're crying in the bedroom. So if therapy didn't move the needle, not because the process failed, but because your partner didn't want to meet you there, that tells you something. Have you ever sat in a couples therapy session thinking like, I'm dragging a corpse into therapy? This doesn't feel good. If that's you, hit the like button. You're not alone. I see this in couples all the time, where one person is very engaged, ready to invest, and the other one is just not present and does not want to invest. Now, the fourth sign is such an important sign that people miss. And this is very common if you are in a relationship with someone who's very selfish, entitled, maybe even has narcissistic tendencies. So, if you have expressed your needs to your partner in a direct, gentle way, maybe you've said, you know what, I need to spend more time with you. I miss hanging out with you. Could you please pick up the dishes and put them where they belong? Could you please do XYZ for me? So you're directly and gently telling your partner what you need, and that's perfect. That's all you can do. But the thing is, despite you repeating yourself so many times, they're still not doing the things that actually matter to you. And this is making you feel very unimportant. Have you been feeling unimportant and unappreciated in your relationship? If that's you, hit the like button. Because that feeling is telling you something. Something's off. I'm not being considered. So yes, let's be clear. You've done the work. You've read the books. You've journaled your feelings, communicated clearly what you need, and still crickets. It makes me feel invisible when you cancel our plans without checking in with me. You're just being dramatic. It was just dinner. You know what? I'm not asking for a lot. I just want to feel considered. Ugh, you're always needing something. It's exhausting. When your needs are consistently dismissed or minimized, the message is clear. Your pain does not matter to me. But let me tell you something. You deserve to be heard and attended to, not handled or neglected. So if this is how you've been consistently feeling throughout your relationship, take it as a serious sign that you need to leave. So if you're sitting here thinking, okay, great, Parisa, what's the point of all this? I still don't know where I stand in my relationship. Get me out of this confusion. I actually created a relationship assessment test to help you with that. It takes just a few minutes to complete, and it will help you see where your relationship really stands right now. Not just emotionally, but practically. This is a test I give to my couples that I work with before we start working together and improving their relationship. The link to the test is right under this video in the description below. Give yourself that clarity, it's worth it. So the fifth sign is emotional withdrawal in the relationship. Someone has checked out. This is one of the hardest and most heartbreaking signs that tell you your relationship might be over. Emotional withdrawal is one or both of you stop reaching for each other emotionally. So you're not feeling as close as you used to. You feel kind of disconnected and distant. For example, you used to share your thoughts and feelings with your partner all the time, and that made you feel so close to one another. Your little wins, your daily stressor. Now when something good happens, you think, what's the point of telling them? They won't care. Or you do try to connect with your partner, but you don't get anything in return. Okay, so work has been brutal this week. Okay. Back to scrolling. Yeah, it starts to feel like you're living with a roommate that you're barely talking to, and they barely know you and they barely know what's going on with you. This kind of loneliness hits differently. Because this is the most horrible feeling. You're with someone, but you're feeling disconnected and alone. There's a lot of pain to this type of loneliness. Here I have someone that I used to be close to. We were physically close, we were emotionally close, and now it just feels like this person does not care. I'm just hitting a wall, I feel shut out, and I don't matter to this person. So they've emotionally withdrawn from me. And they're investing their energy in something else. They're investing their energy in their games, their friendships, their work. I'm pretty sure I'm not on the top of that list. And that hurts. And so when the door to emotional connection has been closed for too long, it can be really hard. Sometimes even impossible to bring back the same old feelings of connection, because actually your partner may be emotionally done with the relationship, and that's why they're investing their energy in other things. So here's another bonus tip for you that tells you maybe it's time to reconsider and leave the relationship. Your partner is openly imagining a life without you. Sometimes they'll even say the quiet part out loud. Things like, I wonder what it would be like just to be alone and just to have my space. This is getting exhausting for me. Maybe we're just not meant to be together. I don't even remember the reason we were attracted to each other in the first place. Or they devalue you. They say, okay, here are the great things about you. You are very ambitious, you're very hardworking, all of that. But you know what? That's all there is to you right now for me. And basically saying you don't hold much value. So it's like at some point you were really valued, now you're being just very devalued by them. Or maybe they say, we're just not meant to be together. I miss being free. Or I want to start fresh with someone. Maybe we won't run into these issues. So it's like we've been running into these issues, now I'm avoiding you. And I'm considering alternatives in my mind that if I just start with someone new, I don't have to run through these points of tension and problems. I can just start fresh and don't have to deal with these problems. So these comments are not just casual comments. They are emotional test balloons, testing how it would feel to detach, to leave, and start over. If you hear these things from your partner and your stomach drops, trust that feeling. Your intuition is already working ahead of your logic. If you had an aha moment watching this video, type yes in the comments. I want to hear from you. If you're still unsure why your partner isn't meeting you halfway, even after you've tried everything, there might be more going on beneath the surface. This may not be just a disconnection, but emotional manipulation. If you're starting to question whether your partner might be a narcissist, I want to walk you through subtle signs to watch for, the ones most people miss, to find out if you're with a narcissist. Learn those signs in the video on your screen now.